How crazy that we're already in August. Where does the time go? Hello, lovely people. Welcome to the Jaden Show. I am Jaden Cornelious, your host for the next hour and so, because I'm going to take you all the way to Yorkshire, UK, to meet phenomenal singer-songwriter, vocal session vocalist, an incredible human being, the lovely, the wonderful, the very talented Suzanna Dee. But I think we should go and listen to her a little bit in action. This is Show Me Heaven.
There you go, flashing fever from your eyes. Hey baby, come over here and shut them tight. I'm not denying we're flying above it all. Hold my hand, don't let me fall. You're such amazing grace, I never felt this way. Oh, show me heaven, cover me, a little breathless. Oh, show me heaven, please. Show me heaven. Oh, show me heaven, cover me, a little breathless. Oh, show me heaven, please. Show me heaven. Oh, show me heaven, cover me, a little breathless. Oh, show me heaven, please. Show me heaven, please. Here I go, I'm shaking just like the breeze. Hey baby, I need your hand to steady me. I'm not denying I'm frightened as much as you. Though I'm barely touching you, I shivers down my spine, and it feels divine. Oh, show me heaven, cover me, a little breathless. Oh, show me heaven, please. Show me heaven. Oh, show me heaven, cover me, a little breathless. Oh, show me heaven, please. Show me heaven. Oh, show me heaven, cover me, a little breathless. Oh, show me heaven, please. Show me heaven, please.
What a tune. Absolutely amazing. We're going to meet her in a minute, but unfortunately you're going to have to be a little bit more patient because we're quickly going to pop to a Jaden Show commercial break. Are you ready, Eddie? I know I am. Let's go and meet the Jaden Show's super special guest of the week, the amazing Suzanna Dee. Suzanna Dee, welcome to the Jaden Show. Lovely, really loving your backdrop. Swell gel, mate. Look at that.
These are pretty much some of the singles I've done in the past.
That's really cool.
It's very rare that you see vinyl being released these days, isn't it? So
no, but I do love them.
Up on the wall, yeah.
I got my collection back in England because I was too scared to bring it out to Mexico because of the heat. And I didn't want to warp. So now I live in a colder place in Mexico. At some point, I'm going to ship all my vinyl out and treat myself to a new record player because love it.
So the thing is, where you're going to put
it? That's a good. There's always a place. If I have to move a couple of cats out the way, or coffee maker might have to be sacrificed. There might have to.
But poor cat. Think of the cats.
Bless her. There's enough of them. There's bloody 10. Anyway, so enough of me. Let's talk about you. Now, you're hailing from sunny... Do you know, I was thinking earlier, because you're in sunny Yorkshire, right? And I can't say Yorkshire as a London boy.
Yeah, it's like Yorkshire.
Yorkshire. It has to be said. If you say you're from sunny Yorkshire or Yorkshire, it doesn't sound that I'm giving it the credentials that it needs, really, because it's such an amazing accent and such an amazing part of the world.
My dad is really broad Yorkshire to the point he needs subtitles everywhere. Honestly, the things that goes, people, like yourselves, Londoners, obviously have got their little slang. My dad's got his own slang, and I go, yeah, and the people go, well, what? Completely don't understand. Yeah.
Well, I think
completely different language.
Does your accent get even stronger when you talk to him?
I think so. Yeah, I'm originally from Leeds.
Okay.
So Leeds in South Yorkshire, where I'm at the moment, completely, very much like ahs and ducks, and whereas in Leeds, like ook and kook and.
Oh, really? It's quite different then.
Quite different to say that they're only like 40 miles away.
Wow. It's funny, living in Mexico, having to really control not only my accent, the speed of my talk, but also the street talk and things that I would use. Like they call them here modismos, so it's kind of slang, that's it. So the slang that I would use, I have lost a lot of my accent by living here for nearly 10 years. But the minute I'm on the phone to me mum, I'm like, all right, love, how you doing? Go, great, that's wonderful, that is. Yeah, I'm just like, oh my God.
Like Danny Dyer.
Yeah, innit? Haven't got his money or his acting credentials. Well. But yeah, anyway, it's not about your voice. It's a singer, songwriter, session vocalist, obviously, and fruits of your labour are behind your head. And probably way more than that, because there's a few stories you've got regarding Spice Girls and other guests of the Jaden show as well. So how did it all start for you? Were you kind of in a musical background growing up? What was going on?
Yeah, my parents were... My dad used to play piano, but he never had a piano. But since growing up, he's played piano. My mum's mum used to sing, but not professionally. None of them were professionals. And every Sunday morning it was like full blast kind of rock and roll, and wake up whilst you're a teenager, just like shut up. That was so Yorkshire. That was shut up, and then shut up, and I found I found out I could harmonise when I was 8. Okay. It was by my mistake. It was just a weird situation. And I just used to get bored. Maybe I've got ADHD at 8. I don't know. I just got bored of singing the same old hymns. And I just started singing this thing. And I went, oh, that's different. And I didn't even know what it was. And then, like, the school teacher at the time, he was the music teacher as well. And he could hear me. And he's like going, who's this? So I used to, every morning, he used to swap places and really doing his head in. And until I found out it was the harmony, and then from then on in, I was interested in. I played violin, I played recorder at school. You know, you dip in and out of things.
Yeah.
You know, musically, and a self-taught piano. I started writing songs when I was 13. Did me GCSE. That shows how old I am.
I failed all my GCSEs. That showed how old and stupid I am.
Oh my God, doesn't mean you're stupid though. That's the thing. It's just like, well, it's not like you didn't know everything, but there's more to life than that kind of that. But however,
Yeah, really,
I'm not saying,
really.
oh,
I was
please
actually
don't.
the very first year of GCSEs, which was a complete screw up because they said now that looking back, when they introduced them at A-level standards. They
That's
were,
right, yeah.
and I obviously
People are
can't.
going like, what's that?
Yeah, did we ever cover this in 4 years of knowledge? I don't think so. So you did GCSE music?
The GCSE music past that. And yeah, I just started writing music, and I just had like influences growing up, and you know, and I kind of made my own sound. And you know, from leaving school, I was actually, sorry, I was in a school band. My English teacher, for his sins, used to love Beatles, and he decided to put together this kind of Beatles tribute to raise funds for the school hall because it needed renovating.
Okay.
So we ended up doing on his really, really old guitar that was completely strings out of tune. Bless him. I mean, he's passed now, but he used to be a second father. But Hines in the Beans. I mean, because he was called Steve Hines, so
Okay.
we would be. You name it as you want to name it, but anyway. So I started doing harmonies, and then this song that I wrote, I went on stage. It was the first time I'd properly gone on stage with my own song at the age of 14. But I was at that time, I was very much bullied at school, and it was to the sixth form, so the oldest group
Right.
of so there have been about 150 kids, and I got booed off stage, and that could have been like a car accident where I wouldn't have gone back on stage. But however, Steve said, I really do believe in you, get back on the stage. And I mean, that for me at the time, I didn't realise how empowering that was, because if I'd not done that, where would I be?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have carried following the things that I've aspired to do, and you know, followed my purpose really.
You wouldn't have those records behind you.
No, I wouldn't know. And you know what? Actually, my husband highlighted when I first met him, and I said, you know what? I said, not only like with the bullying thing, but at junior school, I remember being in the choir, and they sent me to the back.
Oh, me too.
And it was you too. Because I think it's because we've got a loud voice and we're just very confident.
Well, for me, it's because I was shaking. It was they put me at the back of like 50 boys, and I was the shortest, so you couldn't see me. And I was still so petrified of being up in front of people that I still end up leaving halfway through a song because I thought I was going to faint. That's how petrified.
Oh, bless you.
Tiny.
Oh,
No one could see me anyway. I mean, like, no one even knew that I'd gone. But I just was so.
I want to give you a virtual hug. Bless you.
I don't even know how I became a singer or an artist. I think because like it was the most alien. I loved my music, but it was the most to be up. I couldn't even get on a bus until I was like late teens, early 20s, because I was too scared of walking up and paying in front of a lot of people looking down the bus at who was getting on. So I was desperately shy. So yeah, so I kind of.
You're talking to me, and you've gone on stage and stuff like that. Isn't it funny how
I'm 52 now? I don't give a shit. Those days are gone. Like,
high five.
Now,
Completely. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, you up and now. I've done all these years of working over it. I'm in your face now. It's just how it rolls. But they put you at the back of the choir. How mean! Those schools are really. It really is sink or swim, in it, for kids that are not. I mean, I was academic. I was really academic in the beginning, but because I was so academic, I was bullied even more. So I realised that when I started to get like less than 90% in exam in my 60s and 70s, and I didn't speak properly, I started speaking more London. It was the less bullied I get. But God help, if I'd been in a school where music and drama had been like, I mean, they were options, but they were options for the geeks and no one took it, you know, because it was an
Yeah.
all-boys school, so it didn't really wash. But if I'd been in a school where music and drama had been something promoted and something to do, I think I would have been bullied even more, to be fair.
Wow.
I think
Yeah.
it's to be creative as a kid is not an easy choice to make, to be fair.
I mean, it's even more difficult now. So God knows, obviously with social media and things like that.
Mm.
And there's an element of jealousy as well, and lots of different personalities, lots of different cultures now, and there's all that diversity. So yeah, it's very difficult for kids to express. But I think I was at that point in high school. I was doing drama as well as obviously doing music. But nowadays, it's an extra curriculum that you actually have to pay for.
Wow, really?
Yeah, there are certain companies that do go out to schools that will create a band, and so they'll say, right, I want you to go and learn this, and they'll either give them the sheets of music, or some of them, like myself and probably yourself, have just learned how to play an instrument without reading, because I just got so impatient. It was self-taught, so they come in and then they all come together and they're like a band. So there's a singer, there's a keyboard player, there's a drummer, and
Oh,
they say, oh, maybe if you hold your sticks like this, and maybe on that bit you do that, and this timing is this. So it teaches them in a really interesting way, and fast tracks them to doing like the pop thing, and
that's amazing.
instead of doing like classical music. I'm not saying that's not everybody's bag, and I was really privileged to have classical music within the music curriculum, but I was more interested in knowing, how to play rock music, and just how to be myself, but be in a playful environment,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really difficult nowadays.
Did doing your music GCSE, did that make you more accepted? I mean, obviously you were laughed at by the sixth form when you were younger. All of a sudden, when people had seen you when your peer group had seen you taking it more seriously, did you become, because obviously great vocalist, great songwriter, super cool look. Like, did you become kind of like down and funky with your bad self, or was you still like the music outcast of the school?
Oh, yeah, difficult one. Apparently after I'd left school, because I'd had some embarrassing moments, which is another one of those kind of school. I'm really prone to being either accident prone or come out with something completely stupid. That's probably why I've got black and white hair. The blonde is more so the dumb thing. I think, why did I say that? Anyway, so yeah. What was the question? I've got off on a tangent.
Were you always like? Did you become like accepted for your musical
Yeah.
abilities, or did they always bully
Are
you?
you right? So when I'd left school, apparently there were other girls saying, "Oh, I want to be like that." Yeah, my name was Sue Drake then. I want to be like Drakey, and that was my slang for my name. I want to be like her, and I think I don't know if it was overcoming the bullyingness, or maybe it was just because somebody went, "Oh, I really like her voice," or maybe it was the attention thing, where people go, "Oh, she's really good," and this, that, and the other. Somebody to be aspired to, and I thought that's quite a sweet thing
Yeah,
to
really.
do, wouldn't it be good if we had kind of those people in school rather than looking on social media? Let's just do one step at a time rather than going, "I want to be the next Madonna, I want to be the next Adele," or whatever.
Well, yeah, it's when I'm sounding like bloody Victor Meldrew now, but it's kind of like 3-year-old girls, kind of twerking and in their bra top and short dress, trying to be Rihanna and Miley Cyrus. It's just like, I kind of get it. We're kind of like a heavily sexualized species now, but at the same time, it's like I'm really pleased I grew up. I mean, I had a shit childhood because I was bullied a lot, but I still am really pleased that I was brought up in the time that I was brought up. There was a certain innocence to creativity, that it was more about, I mean, like you look at some of the artists that were about back in the 80s, 70s and stuff like that. Some of them were
Yeah.
bloody ugly, mate. Like you didn't get on there because you had a six pack and a hard on in a pair of Speedos on TikTok. Do you know what I mean? It was like,
Yeah.
it really was. You got there because you could do it.
It-
Yeah.
You got it.
So I'm pleased. And I would have loved to have been born like 20 years earlier, because then I think I would have given Val Doonican and Des O'Connor a severe run for their money, mate. I would have like kicked their ass.
You know what? I can imagine with those really, coal stabbers.
And what is it like Oh, I like the Christmas jumpers. Because I live up in the mountains, it gets chilly at night here. So I get my Christmas jumper whenever I can, thanks to Primani. Bloody love it. I would have had my Aaron sweater, and I would have been singing with me little "To All the Girls I've Loved Before." There aren't many, but I would have been rocking it. But no, But I'm still grateful that I was brought up in where there was talent in music, not production.
I remember when we used to get all those the talent shows that were proper talent shows.
Marty Kane. Oh.
Yeah, Opportunity Knocks, and before Pop Idol, and just the cups of that. And there was that. Do you remember Saturday Night Special?
Oh my God, yes. Was it where they all arrived on a bus or something?
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah, I remember that.
I used to dance, and I used to sat there with my popcorn and my can of pop, and I'm like, oh, it was on, because it was because it was the kids then that it wasn't being monetized. Obviously, it was being monetized for airplay, but not for talent.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember do you remember Kids from Fame? Did you watch that?
Yeah.
I didn't know they were all coked and whisked off their face while they were shooting. However, like people like, the actors, oh my gosh, Valerie and Lee Corey, which was Bruno and Doris. I was in love with both of them. They weren't going to be on the front cover of GQ or Elle magazine for their looks and style, but they were like, I just wanted to be both of them when I grew up. Actually, I loved. Bruno was amazing, and Doris was, the Doris Schwartz, the little kind of Jewish Italian-y New Yorkie, who was like, other boys may turn me on, but let temptation slide. I'm just like, oh, you sing it, sister. I want to be like, because they were regular. They looked like regular kids. They weren't like something from Love Island. They were regular kids that had talent, and they loved to do what I think that was. They loved being creative, and they were given an outlet to be creative in an area where you weren't going to be beaten to shit for being creative.
And I think that's where, like, now kids growing up to teenagers, growing up in this kind of world is finding themselves. They find it very difficult because they want to be the next so and so, but they don't know how to be themselves, to be themselves as a brand, and it's really difficult. And I find it quite sad because if you go a little bit outside the bracket, then the bullying thing kicks in. It's like, you don't confined with that tick box, and it's like, I just think to myself, well, bugger everybody else and just be you. And if people follow you, they follow you. If they don't, they don't. As long as you're happy in what you're doing.
I mean, I'm 52 years old and still doing that. No one's going to want to see this boy naked, to be fair, in a pair of swimming suits. There, in a minute, I'm not going to do that on TikTok. The only thing that I found really amazing, I was going through TikTok yesterday, and you get some really, really good singers, 200, 300 likes, and you get some dude just miming. I can mime like I should have. I'm so good at miming. I could have been a drag queen. I'm that fucking good, right? But you got these dudes that are kind of miming, and they've got like 30,000 plus hits, and you're just like, but you're miming like anyone can do it. Like, I really don't get it. It's just.
But it's that society of now. Like, you and I probably know this, but when somebody's being branded, and I think to myself, this is like Whitney Houston kind of thing, where they didn't think about the aftermath of her doing a tour with those high notes. Well, think about your brand and touring with those kind of songs that you're doing and dancing at the same time and doing all of that. Mate, no wonder they mime, because it's freaking exhausting. Taylor Swift, however, I mean, I'm borderline with Taylor, but however, I'll probably get hate mail now, but anyway. But she trains. She she sings and trains. She goes on the treadmill and does a whole set
Yeah.
as she's on the treadmill. And I think kudos to her because she'll sing live and she'll, be all of it and the best that she can be. But yeah, but this is where the next generation is like, why are you miming? Can you imagine going on karaoke? Have you got the version with the
thing is, they're not even miming to themselves. Like, there's a guy miming to, I don't know, Taylor Swift, or there's a guy miming to, and I don't know, Joe Jonas or something. It's just that they're not even singers. They're just miming and getting tens of thousands of likes for miming to a song that's out in the charts. It's
and then let's just put it out there on Instagram when you've got people that, let's just say, who are very just, and they're wanting, I'm trying to be diplomatic when I'm saying this, is they look at a certain way and they sing a certain way because they've got freedom of expression. However, not the greatest singer, but they get lots of likes just for being themselves in a very funny way. So people like them because they're funny, as in not in a good way funny. Yeah, and if they're happy, fantastic. That was what makes them, and it gives them confidence. Absolutely. But when it comes to then mocking, I just think there's a fine line.
I just think it's just really weird with our take. I mean, I remember when is it Susan Boyle? She's got a lovely voice and she can sing, but she ain't amazing.
I know.
Like she's a great. I would love to sing with her. She's a great singer and she's a really super lovely woman. But the reason why she went off the scale was because she was different. Because no one expected a woman to look like her, to have her kind of personality and her character traits, to come out with a voice and to kind of everyone to go like that. But
but it's TV. But I've done judging for Open Mic UK, and we had like not a tick box exercise, but we had to go, right, this is the person's name. How do they look? What how did they fit with their look, with their voice, and then notes, and I can't remember, but there was 5 categories of things. But I think to myself, an up and coming artist, this is how record labels see it.
Yeah, of course.
Where they're either got, if they've got the looks and can't sing, they can wangle that somehow. Yeah. They'll get somebody else to sing it, and they can mime, and they look great. So looking good and looking great sells. That's fine.
Number one, pretty much.
That absolutely. But if you got somebody who sings that's okay looking, they can fix it with surgery, whatever, and then we'll invest. But then you got like the Susan Boyles, who have got an okay voice. But if you've got one that is absolutely bloody amazing, nobody will touch them with a barge pole. But you get said person that's looking really good, and then you've got this singer there. Well, if we pay you a lot of money to do this album, and you keep quiet, and then we'll just use this person just to sell it.
Yeah.
There's probably a lot going on like that.
Yeah.
But then again, it's like, this is where production companies, live. Have you done a sound check? No, I'm just going to go. I've got a mind for this one because I've got a bit of sore throat. Great. Oh, have you? Right, okay. Turn everything off. Right, sing live in front of 50,000 people. How are you going to get on?
Yeah, that's the test, right? That's the test.
Absolutely. But yeah, it's just it's a funny and different world that we live in. Call me old-fashioned. But I am with the times. I have to say, I have to be with the times
to do it. Yeah.
And then we move on to AI, and then that's a whole new ball game.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And there's a lot of people using AI voices, but they're just just not the same.
It just
doesn't
lacks
have
emotion.
an emotion. Just like when they said that with AI, the eyes, you know, the eyes is the eyes of the soul, but now they've kind of grasped all of that.
Yeah.
It's like,
It is
oh,
quite scary. But let's go back because on you know, we
let's go
could
back.
talk
Yeah.
about how weird the world is for bloody hours. But so you've been put at the back of the choir. How did you get from being put at the back of choir to the only female the only backing singer for the Spice Girls, to you know, having all those records behind you, to having a really lovely career? How did you get from being put at the back of the choir to where you are today?
Let me try and narrow it down as much as I can. So it's all about networking. And back in the days then, we had studios and business cards. And used to have advertisements in local newspapers. So it was, my mum always said to me, look, you do need a proper job. So I followed on suit and went into secretarial college because I knew I'd get a job doing secretarial stuff because that was kind of like then the in thing. But it was just all about networking. I'd left school, and then my next door neighbour, believe it or not, Stephen Fox, we joined a band together, who's now part of Dollar.
Yeah,
We had a band
Jaden show ex-guest as well from about a year ago.
I know, and Teresa, and we were in a band together. I mean, Stephen wrote majority of the stuff, but it was is it Message from Iowa? I think we were called Message from Iowa. It might not be. I'll have to find out. Anyway, so from that, then I got to know like other keyboard players who all were looking for a band, and then I was in another band, and then we started doing the club circuit, the Working Men's Club, which is the hard graft. If anybody wants to,
I've done a few of those up in Sheffield and Doncaster.
oh yeah, they're the toughies.
Yeah,
You walk in and entertain me.
Yeah, really.
Right. Yeah. If you can get past the working men's clubs there and you can make them laugh, you can get them on your side. You have to work blooming hard. And but the grafting, as well as going up 4 flights of stairs with a bass bin, you know, you get your muscles, don't you? And bruises, and yeah, you're an all rounder.
And tinnitus. I've discovered.
Yeah, exactly. Turn the monitor at what monitor? All right, and then you wonder why for the like Monday to Friday I can't speak.
Yeah.
But yeah, from there doing working men's clubs, and then and it was I started working for Jive Bunny a long time ago.
Oh, okay.
So that opened a new kind of ball game. So it was a guy called Terry Webster who's part of Rocking Berries. They were a band way back in the 1960s.
Okay.
He's still alive, bless him. And Jive Bunny used to do impersonations, so they're like the Come On Everybody with the bunny and stuff like that.
Go on, everybody. Yeah. We're gonna do this, then it sounds like this.
And it sounds like Come On Everybody. Now the reason why they were able to do that is they used to get people to impersonate people because they didn't have to pay the royalties then.
Oh, okay.
So that's how they very much that very bloody good idea, I have to say. Mm. So I started impersonating people, even to doing children. So I impersonated doing kids' nursery rhymes and stuff like that, and then working in another band whilst working with Terry, this keyboard player. Said, I'm in a boy band, and I'm starting to work with Steelworks in Sheffield with Elliot Kennedy. And,
I used to work with. I've done my first 4 singles with Elliot in Steelworks.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Elliot. Yeah. And so he said, do you want to do some? We've got Martin McCutcheon from this moment. Was it this moment? I think from this moment.
This is my moment.
So we did the original backing vocals for that, but then they'd rearranged it and done something else with it. So my vocals weren't on that. I was a bit gutted, but I was like, oh, but at least I got to hear it before it got released. Yeah. And it's just working on a faster pace as well, and like you up your game, don't you? And look, I've been in studios before, but it's how you work differently and you work, yeah. So anyway, so that got me opportunities. Then it was Elliot and Tim Woodcock who worked with the Spice Girls, mainly Elliot. We'd done Something Deep Inside by Billy Piper, and then he says, well, I've got Spice Girls coming in. And it was like a last minute thing. He'd rang me up and said, can you come in tomorrow? Spice Girls have had to dash off for something or other, but I really need to lay some other vocals on. So I had to go in and I had to literally, with the backing vocals, impersonate each one of them.
Okay.
So I'd heard them all the dry vocals, and I went, wow, this is amazing. And I think it was, I don't know, I wasn't really much of a Spice Girls fan, if I was perfectly honest. And yeah, it was just all the weird, like, fast track. And I even got the lyrics. I wish I flipping picked it up, else I would have been a fortune now with all their writing on it and everything.
Wow.
People said, did you meet them? I went, no, they'd been in, but if I was a fan, it'd be like, oh my God, they put these cans on. It's a lock of hair of Emma's or whatever. You know, I could have been of all that, but I didn't. But I just went and did the job, and then they put like vocal arrangement on it, because there was some bits where I had to kind of rearrange stuff and I had stuff bits in and da da da, and then yeah, and I didn't realise I was the only one, because people said, why are you the only one? It's a bit, well, it was just by fluke. And
it was 85, so it was right.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that it's right place, right time, right people, right moment. If you got the talent, yeah, brilliant, but it has to be, the stars have to align, you know, it has to be
really
all it done it, you know. So I was really, really lucky, really lucky. So yeah, that to that, and then all these other opportunities were, some of them were, my first dance track was at 1997. It was played by Tiezzo in Amsterdam, and I heard it in a nightclub in Manchester, and I thought it was the cassette tape. And the boyfriend at the time says, have you put the cassette tape back on? I went, no. He said, oh, this is on the radio. And it's being released and nobody's told me.
Wow.
I got paid a fee, and then it got released. It got signed by Sony, but Fabric of Life, which is owned by Tidy Boys, which is Music Factory. So yeah, that was my first ever dance track I did.
Wow.
So that's that one. But yeah, one in Show Me Heaven, obviously, was the one that kind of hit me into kind of the top 40 charts, and then I mean, that to get where it did was just an absolute miracle. The
Love
things that we had to do to get it there. But Nikki French was going to do that.
Okay, I know Nick. I was in a really interesting. I was a backing singer with Nikki French. It's actually on my YouTube. I'll have to send you a link. It's called The Devil, and it was John Springate of the Ex Glitter Band. He's a singer, so he's done a lot of stuff with Nikki actually.
Yeah.
And so he was doing a song called Dance to the Devil, and I was this tiny, skinny, middle parting, floppy 90s boy, and Nikki. And we just went in there. We didn't know what we was doing. And Nikki was like, I don't really dance. And I was a dancer because I was in the pop group. And she was like, I don't really dance. I said, I'll just follow you. So I just followed her. And there was one part of it where she was doing this.
Yeah.
But this went on for so long that everything was merging, and the smoke, it was just like, I'm going to faint. I'm going to go on.
It sounds like a Nikki moment.
Oh, it was. Nikki's amazing. She's been on my show as well. She's super, super lovely. And yeah, but she had it great with Total Eclipse, wasn't it? She done really well with.
It's really weird, because I remember seeing Nikki on Top of the Pops. So people that I've seen and that I've remembered where I've been and where I've worked with, and it's like you know, like that serendipity. And I remember I was sat on the step in my front room, and I saw Nikki, and then when Energize had said, oh, you know, it was saying that said, oh, Nikki was supposed to do this, and I think I'd known Nikki subliminally through Energize.
Yeah.
And then I think we met each other in passing, and then then obviously we've met with each other, and then, but it was serendipity because she was good. She was working with Stock, wasn't it? Pete
Stock and Walk, wasn't it?
What? Yeah, it wasn't Pete Waterman. It was Mike Stock. Sorry,
Yeah.
and
That's
she
what I
contract.
but-
Yeah,
but-
so then that's how that came, and because I was called Sue Drake at the time, and that's how Suzanna Dee was born, because Sue D for Drake. So and then there and in just went and did that, and then it just carried on with all other things. Again, it's just all networking. It's not what you know, it's who you know, and yeah, just met so many people, and obviously like yourself now, and you know. And
well, we've met. I recorded a song with Mike Stock as well. I couldn't remember. I know he told me off for singing too British at one point. My grandmother always, my biggest criticism was with my nan was I used to sing Your Eyes, and she goes, "It's not your rise, it's your eyes." She goes, "You don't understand." So I remember, I think that actually for the first time, the lyrics "Your Eyes" were in this Mike Stock song. So I was singing like "Your Eyes." I can't even remember the song at all. I got no recollection of it. I'd love to hear it again. And he said, you sound too English. You need to sound more like Kylie and slur your words together. And I was like, oh, okay. I've just kind of done 5 years to work myself out of that habit to go, but yeah, but no, we've worked with a lot of the same people, like, you know, it's been
weird, isn't it?
Yeah, but we've never met. Well, we have now
virtually. I can't come over to Mexico to give you a hug, but anyway, but if
when I get back to UK, maybe end of this year, I'll let you know. We'll have to do a coffee halfway or something, get a train and meet halfway. That'd be really cool. So yeah, so how did it get from kind of like what's going on at the moment for you, because you've done loads of things?
Well, I left Energize only purely and simply because I really wanted to get to do my own thing. And it's not, I think, because I got to a certain stage where I just wanted to kind of reinvent myself a little bit.
Okay, yes, understandable.
And you know, you go through generation after generation, and for Nikki, it's clearly worked, but I don't think it was working for me. So that's why I thought I really want to do my own writing, and I wrote Rise Like a Fallen Angel with Renee, and this was through a mutual friend I've known for 20 years. He was a Gatecrasher promoter, so when we used to do gigs for Ministry and Gatecrasher, I used to know, I knew him. So he said, "Oh, I'm working with these DJs. Do you fancy doing this track?" So I wrote that, but Black Hole got involved in it, and yeah, I can't remember. I think that got to number 8, 9, I think. So that was pretty good for me. That my own song that I've written, and to say somebody who's dyslexic as well, and it's not really very good at explaining themselves very well, and I was able to do it through song. I thought,
amazing,
the battle.
Well done,
you know,
bloody amazing.
So it was just like a kind of a real good confidence thing. It's not an ego trick, but confidence to kind of carry on. And then I came a bit ill. I had a few problems health wise, and then come back a couple of years ago, and I've just networked my backside off with people that I've worked with before in the past, and just kind of doing new things, and I've allowed the universe to kind of do things for me. I'm just gone with the flow instead of being in control of things, because I think I was like, I just got myself hooked up about, oh, time, and I need to be doing this, and you know, and actually just allowing things to just come naturally, and they have, and it's been a blessing.
Do you think as well there's kind of like a inner demon for musicians, especially from the 90s and that kind of stuff, where you are so indoctrinated that you have to find a style, you have to stick to that style, and you cannot even add a harmonica and a saxophone if that doesn't exist to your style. You know, it was a pop R&B boy signed to Logic BMG, in a two black girl, two white boy group in the 90s. We were doing really well, but just had really shit management that destroyed everything. And then they wanted me to become I was very slim, very pretty, blonde hair. I was out with a Max Martin group in Sweden doing kind of Britney-esque stuff, but they wanted me to be like a male Britney in England. It was all that kind of, oh baby, baby kind of vibe. So I'd done that, and that didn't kind of work. It sounded good, and the tracks are really cool actually, but it didn't work. So they wanted me to do acoustic R&B, but then Craig David had just come out on, I don't know what record label, doing acoustic R&B, and he's black and could do it 50 times better than me. I sounded really cool, but it would be like, I don't know, Sting doing it rather than Luther Vandross.
Or what's it? Not Milli Vanilli. What's his face? Ice Ice Baby.
Oh yeah.
You're just doing that, and it's
and it cut it. And that sounded good, and they were really great songs. I was working with some amazing people, but and then I kind of
right. It just didn't all align, did it? For you?
And then I lost it. I had a bit of a break for a few years, and came back, and I came back doing classical crossover, so popra. So I was singing like Tony Braxton songs, but in Spanish, like Regresa a mí, quiereme otra vez. It was like Il Divo kind of vibe. So I started doing that, and then released my third album. Came to Mexico, and I'm singing Nessun Dorma, right, in a restaurant hotel, and someone taps me on the shoulder during Nessun Dorma and says, "Do you know any Whitney?" And I'm just. And then I got approached by a reggaeton dembow artist in Quintana Roo, Mexico. We chatted and we went, let's just do a collaboration. And he's like, let's do this pop dembow thing. And I'm just like, oh, I'm a classical singer, mate. Like, that's what my brand is. I'm the bad boy of classical music, having piercings and tattoos.
Yeah.
And he's like, but how's that going? I went, it's going, but I'm not doing much. Then you're free, right? Yeah, I'm free. So I think on all these years of being told you have to stick to this, you cannot move out this pigeonhole, you have to create and drive and create and drive and drive to establish your sound, that actually getting to a point in my late 40s where I thought, I'm going to do a reggaeton dembow track. He's going to rap in Spanish, I'm going to sing. I wrote the top line and the melody to the the English bit. And then I got approached by Crazy Dog Records to do two kind of poppy, dancey tracks. I'm like, I don't have to stick to a genre anymore. My genre is Jaden Cornelious, and he does what he wants to do. It's so liberating, isn't it? But I think a lot of that, like, oh my god, I can't veer left of centre because no one will respect me as an artist. I'm like, well,
yeah.
Do you think that was part of a little bit of working in the back of your brain as well? Do you think you were kind of quite conditioned by the industry like that?
Absolutely. And I think, I'd gone with the flow with Energizing, and I just think it wasn't me anymore. It was part of my past, and as grateful as I am, else I wouldn't have been doing what I'm doing now. Yeah. And I wouldn't have had, I did have a little bit of, a few fans, not many, but a few. And I met so many people along the way with it. So I'm entirely grateful, but I just think it was just at the right time for me to do something else. But if you
evolve, right? Evolve creatively, musically, and everything.
Yeah. I was already impersonating other people, so my voice is catered to whatever. I've done rock, I've done pop, I have done classical, I've done nursery rhymes, I've done house music, dance music, trance music, ballads, all kind of genres where I've gone. But at the end of the day, I don't think I sound like anyone apart from me.
Right, okay. So
it is me, it's my unique sound, and like you is you. So that is, like you say, that's Jaden Cornelious, and it's me, Suzanna Dee. I will, if it's something feels good to me and I'm tapping my foot and I know that I can do something and I know that the outcome's going to be really good, whatever genre that is, I'll do it.
Yeah.
If it feels right, I'll do it.
I think it's liberating. Even a friend of mine was in the oh my god, Canadian tenors. Beautiful looking man, exceptionally trained tenor voice. I mean, I'm just Neanderthal classical singer compared to him. Fucking amazing. And he was like, sod it, I'm gonna go. He's got, he's on all right money. He's like, I'm going to London, I'm gonna work at Abbey Studios with the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra and do my version of Winner Takes It All by ABBA. And I'm just like, that's what you need to be doing, mate. Do it. Yeah. Like that was him just breaking his mold a little bit. And I think COVID had a lot to do with that. I think when we realised the fragility of not only our industry, our lives, our family, our community, but it broke a lot of the pigeonholes because we just had to survive and find new ways of being creative. That's how I formed the Jaden Show. But it broke down a lot of the structures that were in place that were keeping us on this kind of like very shallow focused path, whereas now we're like, fuck, it doesn't matter if there's a saxophone in that because I can't gig it anyway now because I'm stuck in isolation. So it kind of changed a lot of, I think it broke down a lot of our industry belief system and allowed us to become more liberated and free with our craft and our creativity, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you just hit the nail on the head. I think it is liberating because it's just that freedom of being able to do what you want, and there's times when I've been sent something, I'll just go, I'm trying too hard to find something, so I've just got to do a swipe left.
Okay, yeah,
swipe right.
Yeah.
So I just go, I'm really sorry. It's really good, but it's just really not for me. I've got to feel it, and then because it's like with anything. If you got to believe in it to then sell it, to then put your own stamp on it,
absolutely,
and your own emotions and everything else. So, yeah, I think it's liberating. Well done, you.
No, well done, you, mate. So, do you have like the stuff that you're doing at the moment? Is this just pure Suzanna Dee styling now? I mean, obviously, you're still going to do your session stuff. You've got to earn a wage. You're beyond talent is so you can put your finger to anything and make money, and we've all got to live and eat, right? But are you concentrating more on Suzanna Dee creating that brand at the moment, or are you just doing whatever comes and whatever I enjoy?
I mean, let's just face it, we can't make much music in the industry, so mainly I have to say that it is a hobby. Because if I said that this is my job, then
yeah, I've never made one penny from anything I've ever done apart from some live performances. Never.
It's gigging that you make the money rather than anything live streaming now is just it's completely dead. So it's like I'm not going to make any money out. Did I enjoy it? Bloody yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm still songwriting. I've got quite a few things in the bag. I've done one that's getting released hopefully. Don't know when, but it was just one of those things when we talk about networking. It was somebody who works with Solarstone. Is like he's got like his own clang of people, and I'd heard one of his songs, and I just thought, Facebook friend request. Hi, I'd love to work with you. Ta-da! And here we are.
Maybe I need to be.
So I listen to his podcast and I go, what kind of sounds the DJs like? And I'm thinking, and even like now, I listen to like 24/7 house progressive, and there are so many DJs with melodic trance on there, but I'll make my own songs out of them. So when I go jogging, I'll go walking, I'll make melodic my own thing, and then I'll download the music, but then take the music off, and there you go. There's a song already good to go. There you go. Put some music on that. There you go, good to go. So that's why how I get over the fact that if DJs don't come to me, then I can go to them with whatever I'm working on. So I'm always wherever I'm doing whatever. If I'm not working doing this, I'm listening to other things, and still being creative. I mean, I've got Post-it notes coming out of my backside of oh, that's a real lyric.
Can you Post-it note and put on that duet with Jaden Cornelious?
Duet with Jaden. See, I'm writing it, Jaden Cornelious.
Right, we've got to do a collaboration. That would be fun. A little Mexico, England. Look at that. People at home, you've seen it, you've witnessed it. Now you have to wait for that to come to fruition. But you won't.
You'll have to think about what you do with it because I think you and I are very spiritual, so I think it'll have to be something
But
on
I'm
those
cool with
lines.
EDM. I'm cool with any genre. I'm cool. Why can't you mix spiritual with EDM? How cool would that be?
Well, it kind of is trance
Yeah, pretty
music.
much. Yeah, absolutely. It's out of body experience shit, isn't it? So yeah, that'd
Exactly.
be super, super cool. But no, I think that should be on your stick it.
But apart from that, it's the mental well-being apart because I have suffered quite a lot with mental health well-being, and I suppose there's a lot of people out there. And so I recently did a talk about burnout in the music industry because again, it's all about we're fast paced and we're not thinking about who we are as a person, and we're just really just create music for the sake of creating it rather than actually going who are we, what we're doing and why we're doing it. And we just then tend to burn out because we're told by deadlines this, that, this and this. Well, why don't you do it yourself and publish it yourself, and why don't you release it yourself, put it out there? If it's true to you, then yeah, so be it. Whatever happens happens. So I talk about burnout, and so I'm working with somebody in the US at the moment talking about putting some songwriting camps together, but trying to do with mental well-being as well.
Amazing.
So it's like mentoring and say, basically, if like you've got so many people with like yourself, you'd be a great mentor
Well,
about
I've
all
also
these.
suffered mental health for my whole existence, and I'm on the autistic spectrum, so everything was kind of a little bit heightened. Things that wouldn't affect most people affected me, and you know what the industry was like back in the day. Like it was brutal. I mean, someone was saying like there were 200. I mean, I remember sitting in A&R rooms where there were bags and black bags and black bags of the most brightly coloured demo envelopes that you could put. And they were saying something like 220,000 demo tapes are received a year, 220,000, and not even 200 people get a deal. So, and then when you've got it, you don't know whether to celebrate it. You know, you can have a champagne dinner with a record company because you've signed the heads of agreement and then you're dropped the next day, or you're shelved because they want you off of their radar because they've got an artist. It was emotional torture. And if that is on top of mental health as well, that's like atom bomb shit going on, you know.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
so
mean,
I think what you're doing is incredible.
well, this is why we've got suicide rates. We've got people taking their own lives, and people in addiction. People have got all different spectrum of like autism, ADHD. The majority of creatives are very ADHD, autism, on all on the spectrum because that's how we express ourselves. But it's how to manage it and how to set boundaries not only with the industry and people around you, but within yourself. Don't
Absolutely.
allow your self love basically, and so that kind of thing we're looking at, and I think I don't want somebody else to suffer what I've gone through. If I've gone 25 years of this shit, I would prefer and love to take somebody under my wing and be able to give them the experience of saying, don't do that, maybe do that. Not tell them what to do, but suggest it.
Yeah. If I can help in any way, you got me, sister. Good.
Thank you, my love.
I
All right.
remember trying to explain. I tried to explain to someone like you see someone on one of the talent competitions that have been in it for 4 weeks, and they're dropped, and their world has crumbled. When you have done that for 8 years, you have been. I mean, my write-ups were like, it's going to be Jaden's going to be Britain's biggest export. Jaden's going to be bigger than George Michael. I was doing London Fashion Week, where 5 years ago I was too ugly to be even in the middle cover of a magazine. So the industry that we've gone through, it would either kill you or cure you, definitely. And you see, it's not only people that are trying to become and trying to exercise their creativity in a world that's full of hard-ons and wife fronts, but it's kind of, you've also got the people that were there, that were at the top of their game, that all of a sudden are now looking to work in a care home or McDonald's because that's it. And what do you do at 40 and 50 years old when you were a phenomenal artist back in the 80s and 90s? That brings with itself its own mental health. I think the biggest lesson for me, and it's what you said, a little while ago, was you do it because you love it. When my expectations of achievement stopped, Expectations for me breed disappointment. So I have zero. I put myself where I can put myself. Maybe I should work a little bit harder putting myself, but I do put myself. Do what I do. I do what I love, without any expectation of any outcome. Just the fact that I love it, and I think that has been my greatest lesson.
I think with me, anybody I work with, I've got a contract together, and it's just a general songwriting contract.
Yeah, you need it.
That we understand that, this is the title of the song, because once I go through it, I think I've got a title, change it. Then we sign the contract. It's 50-50 when we get things signed and sealed. And then there you go, there's my vocals. I'll do a very, very low res vocals to kind of give them a little bit so they can't rip it off or anything with it. And then that is the only boundaries that I set when I'm doing it. But once I feel that's it, well, and I get to know the person as well, because I'll only work with people that I really truly I can connect with. If there's too much ego, I don't want to know. Yeah. I don't do that anymore. I don't feed it.
We don't have to.
We've got too many ego feeders out there with their hands up in the air, and they are God's world, and that's not me.
Well, it's like what you said now. It's about, even the most regular person in the most regular setup of life has real troubles dealing with mental health. When you're creative and expressive, that kind of adds a good couple of bottles of gasoline to that mental health fire, because if you can't get out, you can't do it, you can't express it, you can't share it, you can't, we have so much going on in our head, and on spiritual expectations and what we put in, the seeds that we sow, that it's really hard to balance. So I just think having that kind of like that, just the freedom of not care. I don't say not caring, because obviously what you do is important and it's loved. You do it for love, so you give your best because you love it, not because you care about the outcome of it. And that's really, that's really freeing as well.
I think before, like you said, that you really did touch the nail on the head. And with my husband, I said, and he was quite apt, and I said, "What are your dreams now?" And he went, "Oh, that's a deep one." It's because we evolve every decade, and our dreams and aspirations change as we grow older because of just how we've been brought up in life. And I said, whereas before I'd want to be on top of the pops, want to be playing the Wembley Arena, and I mean, we're talking big, like, yeah, I'm going to be at Live Aid, I'm going to be a headline Queen, go away. No, I'm going to be there in front of 100 million people. It's all about me. No, it's not anymore. It's all about, if one person really likes what I've done, I feel like I've done my job, and they've taken away something of the words that I've written, especially with Be As One. That was when I was in a really dark place, and it was actually going to be Pride Anthem. Okay. Because I was an ambassador for Pride. But it was all, if it wasn't going to be like an EDM, I said it's going to be an EDM track no matter what it is. But Be As One was all about unified together, and just thinking about where your home's at and who you are. And I said, if I can save somebody's life from that, knowing that they're accepted and loved, and that they're in a home that they can accept themselves, so be it. I feel like I've done my job. It's not about, oh, look at me, I'm going to sing another one now. It's not about me.
Yeah. But it's what you said right at the beginning of this chat as well, when you said, to get yourself to a stage where, you were at the back of the choir, and then to be in, I just want to be like Drakey, even to be a positive influence on any level of existence, for me, is sacred. To give that one little spark of vulnerability, rawness, connection, because essentially we all have that ability to be the most beautifully giving, caring, wonderful, creative, nurturing people. We ain't, because of our conditioning, but just to affect one person's life, for me, is just sacred, completely sacred. And you're doing it.
I'd die happy. I would really die happy.
I think we lose sight of it. I think that's another thing, with our mental. I remember I was singing in, shopping malls and stuff in the UK, And I got to a stage where I thought, well, I don't know why I'm doing this. Like, no one's really bothering. Like, some people are dancing, some kids are listening, some people are standing and watching for 3 minutes, but they're kind of more interested in going to Primark and getting a deal, which I was actually more interested in going to Primark and a deal than actually standing there singing, to be fair. And then, and of course you get all your crazes. God love them. God love us. You get all your crazes, and I was always get the drunk or the old man or whatever. And all of a sudden, this lady at the end of it, I was packing up, and she was just kind of standing there, looking at the floor, and I was like, and my instant arrogant little fuck brain was like, oh, here we go. I just want to go home now. I've done 4 hours of this. I'm tired. I'm done. And the biggest lesson I ever learned in all my career, actually, and she didn't say much. I said, are you all right, love? And she went, yeah, I'm fine. She goes, do you have a minute? I said, absolutely. What's going on? She went, well, I've been agoraphobic for 15 years since some tragedy happened in her. She's not been out of the house. She said, I've had years and years and years of therapy. She said, today is the first time I ventured out of the house. And I pretty much got to the front, like in the streets, and then I was already like, I've got to go back. But I heard somebody singing Dance With My Father by Luther Vandross, and I had to investigate. And you were singing.
Oh.
That was the song from my dad when he died. And she said, so if you hadn't have sung that, I could never have got all this way to the shopping centre and be standing in front of you. She goes, I'm going out, bye-bye. She just walked off. I went and sat down, and I was tearing like a blood.
I bet you had to take a moment, didn't you?
And I had to kind of say, do you know what? It's not about you, Jaden. It's not about whether people stop and listen. For me now, as an artist, if one person is not even acknowledging my presence, but they're tapping their foot, I know I've got that bastard.
Yeah.
I've got it. Even if it's completely ignoring it, I've got him on a level. I've got him. And that's what it's about. It's about to be able to affect somebody with your talent, to have some input, on their day, in their life. And that's just by singing and them enjoying it. Not only by being a role model, I want to be like Drakey when I get older, or even more so, saving someone's life. What you're doing is pure magic, mate. Pure magic. And it's sacred. Like, it's just amazing. We need more people. I would listen to you all day and these stories more than I would listen to someone who's miming to Celine Dion, or who's got an incredibly six-pack, beautiful body with a semi in a pair of Speedos and he's dancing around. That holds nothing for me after a couple of seconds. But people that are using their creativity to touch, to move, to evolve, to create, to change, that's sacred, dude. Sacred.
There was one, and I'll shut up because it was like the same thing for you. When I took a break because I got 2 stepchildren as well. I took a break out of it because it just got too overwhelming, and I'd gone through a bit of mental health and stuff like that. And I thought, it's time to be actually a stepmom. So anyway, I came back, and then that was the glorified internet, YouTube thing. So I thought, right, I'm gonna do some delving into who I am and what I've done before. I wonder if what's happened. And so I saw this video being put on, and it was a green background with handwriting that said Chelsea, and then it said a date to a date. And so what I was trying to do is promote my Facebook page. I thought, thank you for posting. If you come on my Facebook page, blah, 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 send. And I did it pretty much with all the other videos, and I'm like, oh my God, I've got the forums, all the same really nice. So, oh, really, thank you. Da, 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 da. So this particular video, I didn't realise. I got a message back from the person. They said, thank you so much, that really means a lot. This song was meant for my niece who passed away with a rare case of cancer, and this is our theme tune. We wrote the words to the song on a gravestone.
Wow.
And I didn't write it, but that's not the whole point. It was the fact that the song itself got, and they'd use this, and this was in Scotland when it was 1 in a million, and it was quite well known up in Scotland, and he was a DJ at the time, and so I went up to see him and I visited him and I visited the family, and I went to go to the hospital where the children's hospital where she'd passed away, and I thought if I could spend I spent a full day with the kids in there. My God, and I was like a mess. Come out of it, and I got a bracelet made with Suzanna on it. This kid, you know, he said he's been asleep for a couple of days, but this is the first time he's been out to come out and play. So I got us to draw around each other's hands, and I've still got that handprint and the bracelet and stuff like that. And it was just like going round and just seeing these kids and going, do you know what? People put on Facebook about crap. And then there's these kids and stuff like that. But that is through one song, somebody posting it on YouTube. Are you filling up?
No, well, it is pretty touching, to be fair.
Yeah.
But no, it's amazing. It's amazing. And they are the moments that we lose sight of the quickest. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
I've done this. I was working with an orphanage in Romania. Beautiful, beautiful.
Wow.
And there was one kid called Andre with hydrocephalus. His head was like this big, like a little dude.
God.
He was so beautiful. And he was in agony all the time. Like, it was just, you know. And I remember I was holding his hand and I was just rubbing his hand and singing Disney songs to him. And he just drifted off to sleep. Not to die, but just drifted off to sleep. And they said on the first times, he's drifted off to sleep without any medication in his whole life.
Oh, my God. See, that's what you...
And that was just like... Oh, yeah, it's just... I need to get my ass kicked. I need to get back into doing stuff.
Well, then, there you go, then.
Yeah, that's what...
Bloody ass.
Sorry, people watching and listening. This ain't about you. This is about me and her today. We're kicking each other's ass to keep everything. I'm
only short, but anyway, so are you, so I can still kick your ass.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Only 5'3" and a bit.
Oh, I live in Mexico, mate. I'm bloody giant here. I'm 5'6 3/4.
How are you?
Boy is towering here. It's amazing.
A little.
Yeah, not all of them, but there's a lot littler than me. Absolutely, I'm bordering on to average to tall.
Wow. I can imagine these.
It's worth living here, mate, I tell you.
Oh my God.
But let's talk about future plans. What's going on? Apart from the collaboration with Jaden Cornelious, what is the future holding for Suzanna Dee?
So I've got a few tracks in the bag. This one, I said, it's been signed as we speak. Don't know when the release date's going to be. I've got another remix of another track coming out with a Clubland DJ again, because it's not signed. I can't really say anything. Working on a cover of a song, which actually I know that it will be quite big, but it's a cover. I'm working with a DJ that I've worked with him in the past. Another DJ that's another Solarstone gang of other people. He approached me. I really love his work, and he's just off the wall. He's just an Irish bundle of joy. He makes me laugh, and he's just one of those. I'll do anything, you know. It's like he's not a in the bag person. I've said, what about production, doing this, and this? He went, I'm on it. And I'm like, tell him what to do, and he's like, on it. And he's like, what about this? What about that? And I'm like, brilliant. So we get so there's that in the pipeline, and that's a house track. EDM, and there's some other ones that I want to get to work with another DJ. It's very much like Massive Attack, Dead Mouse kind of vibe.
Bit darker.
So I'm working on that. I've got another one that's a bit Kylie-esque.
Oh, cool.
So I don't know with that one, but yeah, these ones are all in the pipeline, and then the mental health thing, and doing the songwriting camps and stuff like that, which will probably be next year. So that's pretty much where I'm at the moment, and just being me.
Love it.
Enjoying life to the full, and just being just a nice person, and being kind and loving and caring.
Definitely worth celebrating. Definitely
Patient.
Celebrating.
I think that a lot of things. I went to a spiritual healing the other week, and you must be patient. A lot of us don't have it. Breathe.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mindful.
How about you? How about you?
What about me?
What about you? What's your future apart from this? Apart from this
Apart
duet?
from that one, that was one of the most
Yeah.
things. I've written 2 kids books. So I'm writing a whole series of kids books. So I've got 2 out on Kindle at the moment, but apparently the end of this month, early next month, that the first 2 are coming out on paperback. So I'm quite excited, and I've got the Spanish versions ready to go. So that's kind of cool. So that's right. I am. Funny what you said about going through. I went through my YouTube yesterday, and one of my besties in England, she's bloody lovely. She's such a talented girl. And we used to get together in my mum's house every Tuesday night for songwriting sessions, and they were just fucking hilarious. We just had the best time. I'll send you some of the videos. They were just the best time. And we wrote 6 really, really lovely tunes. And this was 13 years ago. I've been in Mexico for nearly 10. And we've done nothing with them. So yesterday I put a shout out just saying, if anyone wants to work with me, I've got 0 budget, and my money is going to be on recording my vocal.
So nice.
Yeah, so I just want people to help me put tracks together and do like a Jaden and Friends collaboration, because I want to make it in these 6 songs into an EP. Okay, I'll send you the songs. I want to make the songs into an EP and sell it for charity. That's what I want to do with that.
Charity.
I don't know yet. I'm going to be led by that when it comes up. It could take a year to come up, and what is relevant to me now might not be relevant, or something more relevant. Who knows what's happening with the current state of the world? There might be earthquakes, wars, or anything. So maybe when the EP's finished, there's something really pressing that I need to focus my attention on. So I'm looking for musicians to do a collaboration on that. So that's very exciting. They're just really like 6 just really lovely tracks, and I'm really pleased with them because they were coming from a place of friendship and fun and beauty, and it was just nice.
Yeah.
And I want to do more collaborations. I found a really lovely studio here that I work with. He's a super lovely guy. So now I can do, until I get my own studio, I can start to collaborate now, which is really, really cool. Hence my last single that came out a couple of weeks ago. And I don't know. I want to build a little house. I want to continue. I'm starting a new show. Well, actually, it would have already started by the time this goes out. But I've started doing a collaboration on, it's called Gathering Nature, with a phenomenal herbalist from the UK. And she's doing foraging, and we're going around. She's going around because I'm in Mexico, but she's going around talking about things like, how every part of the dandelion is edible, from the leaf to the roots and how you can treat certain things, but also you can make a bloody lovely salad with it, or a nice cocktail, or, so we're doing this kind of thing. So a new show it would have already been released because this show's out in August, but we've got Gathering Nature is just about to be started, and I'm very excited by that, because I think now when we don't know what the state of the world's going to be like, we might need to have to go bloody foraging in forests to get some of our goods to eat, to be fair.
You know what? Just talking about that, sorry, I'm standing on your toes now, but I was thinking, if we ever went into kind of, like you say, this kind of world where even vegetables cost a lot of money, I'm going, right, I'm going to get myself a greenhouse, and I know the perfect place for it, and just grow my own stuff.
Do it.
And and like foraging, it is understanding and knowing what's what. Like nettles is good for you.
Yeah, that's my episode 2. So this one nettles episode. So yeah, it's nettles. We've got about 40 show plans, from not only stuff that you can find, but ailments you can treat, tinctures you can make, preserves, and pickling blackberries. Who would have thought? We've got a whole
over here coming up. Yeah,
we've got a whole list of of stuff that is going to be on that show. It's going to be a very exciting and informative.
Oh, I'm signed already.
And the thing is, for me, where in COVID, I kind of thought the world's never. Now we've realised the fragility of our existence, that you can have armed guards at the end of the streets. You can have military breaking into your home and removing unvaccinated from their homes and putting them in holding centres. We've realised our complete control, how controlled we are, and how vulnerable and fragile we are. That if I leave this whole experience the same way as I went in, I have missed the biggest opportunity to change my life. So I moved across the country. I have a little piece of land that I live on. I have 32 peach trees. I've got mulberry, banana, avocado, cherry, rhubarb, pear, plum, apricot, all the herbs. What else have I got? Mulberry, blackberry, aloe vera. Aloe vera. Like I've grown like just copious amounts of fruits and herbs, and I'm starting to build troughs to start doing salads and root veg because I've got chickens. My girls,
Yeah.
they pay their rent daily. They are good to me. So I get 4 eggs a day. I've only got 4 chickens and they're all laying and they've all constantly laid, so they must be happy. So
Yeah.
so I'm kind of thinking, apart from the occasional, things which I just started making kombucha yesterday.
What's that?
It's a fermented tea drink.
Ooh.
So it's a bit vinegary. It wasn't my favourite, but my friend made it and it was actually quite delish. So, and it's just full of fermented bacteria, which is phenomenal for gut health. So, in my 52 years of age, where I am feeling myself getting older on every level, I'm starting to great filters on Zoom. I'm starting to now take care of how I treat my body for the first time. I was never into drink or drugs or anything. I might smoke for 3 months, but then not again for 2 years. I've never really been hardcore rock and roll, but I think my future is just being a bit more conscious on how to take care of me a little bit better.
We have to do, all of us, really. You're not getting any older, any younger, sorry. And, all these creams and things like that, and then all these medications, take this for that. For centuries and way back in the tribehood, you used to be able to do your own medicine, but we just don't have what we used to have way back then because of houses.
We do, but we've been converted. I mean, like here, I live in the middle. I'm the only white boy for kilometers and kilometers. So I live in the middle of 2 indigenous communities that don't even speak Spanish. I mean, they speak a bit of Spanish, the kids do, but they speak their own language. And they are kind of like, one of my friends who does speak, my Spanish isn't great, but I can get by now. And one of my friends who only speaks Spanish and his language kind of says, "Oh, I'm a bit worried about, you've had a bad stomach for 3 days." And he goes, "Let me speak to my friend. He's got a plant for that." And I'm like, okay, that sounds like a plan. And there's just so much stuff. Well, I saw this meme or this ad on Facebook which said, what nature has given us isn't alternative healthcare. It's the original healthcare.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything sealed and packaged is our bastardization of what nature has given us. And it might work, but really, it's quite interesting.
You just think to yourself, I mean, pharmacies make so much money.
Oh my God, Big Pharma is the biggest organisation globally.
No wonder doctors, just take that.
Well, there's no money in good health, mate.
No, exactly. So, even like now we've got a farm shop up the road, I'll go there and, I know it's organic, I know where it's come from, but to myself, that would be
great. Your greenhouse, mate. By the next time you come on the Jaden show to launch your mental health tour of the States, we want to be talking about what you've got sprouting.
Right, okay.
Right?
Yeah, okay, I'll take that. So, vegetables.
Greenhouse. Realise that speaking to Jaden for an hour and 20 minutes would give me so many extra bloody things. These are your homework now.
And you too. Oh, do you know what? It's been brilliant.
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful not only to spend time with you. I love hearing your stories. I love what you're doing and what you have plans to do. It's magical. Like I said, to save one person, one sentient being's life, whether it be cat, dog, mouse, human, is sacred. And and you're doing it, and you're planning to do more. And for me, that's just like big up to you. Big up to you. That's
and ditto. You're doing your bit. I think ripples.
Absolutely.
That's all we can.
It's all cause and effect.
And it's they might turn into waves, and you never know.
And our spiritual EDM track is going to transform the world.
Transform the world.
But no expectations.
We're gone. doing that, but no, I can't do that. Yeah. Oh yeah, all right then. Yeah, I'll think about that because from we could just say I don't know, our land's our own for the seeds that we grow. I don't know.
We'll
I'm
see.
going into
Already on it. Okay.
I'm on.
Before you get creative on my ass, I'm going to say to the people at home, you love her. You obviously want to show her love and support on all of her social media platforms. Suzanna, where can they find you? Where are you, mate?
I'm over here. No, I'm
In Yorkshire.
I'm in Yorkshire. So yeah, Facebook Suzanna Dee, SuzannadeeMusic, Instagram SuzannaDee3775, YouTube it's to come up and running. SoundCloud is Suzanna Dee. Majority if you type in Suzanna Dee, it'll come up with me. YouTube, which is YouTube, I need to sort out. So lots of things I need to sort out. But I'm just being creative.
Perfect. People at home, make sure you go, before you finish your cup of tea and your cheese sandwich, make sure you go and find Suzanna Dee on all of her social media platforms. Don't forget, her music is also downloadable on all download and streaming platforms as well, including SoundCloud. I've just followed her, so you bloody well should as well, quite frankly. So go and do that before you finish your cuppa and turn off your computer. Suzanna Dee, I can't thank you enough for being a phenomenal guest on my show this week. Much love to you. I'm very excited about our collaboration. And we're in touch. We're going to touch base and we're going to chat way more than just.
I don't do BS, so yeah, it's a given. So yeah.
Bless you, mate. No, absolutely. Suzanna Dee, thank you. And we'll talk again soon.
All right, darling. Lots of love.
And you too. Bye-bye. How amazing. Suzanna, thank you so much for being a fantabulous featured guest on my show. People at home, thank you as well for allowing Suzanna and I into your sacred sanctum this Sunday afternoon. Maybe I should change the Jaden show to Sacred Sunday Sanctums. Maybe that could be a bit more catchy. But anyway, thank you for allowing us into your life, into your living room, your bedroom, your office, wherever you're watching this show. Thank you for allowing us into your life today. I hope you've subscribed. I hope you've hit that tinkly bell. Not only will you be doing me a favour, you'll be doing Suzanna a favour and all the artists, because they'll have a much bigger audience to see their show. That will be absolutely wonderful. Before you finish today, don't forget to go and check Suzanna out on all of her social media platforms. You would have seen a list running through the interview as well as on the title page of this interview as well. So go and check her out. Go and show her some love. Go and show her some support. That would be wonderful. And while you're at it, you can come and see me on my social media platforms as well. Now, you've heard that not only is she a singer and a session vocalist, but she's also a songwriter. So the song I'm leaving you with today, which is called Be As One, it's not her singing, but it's her song. And you're going to listen to that before we leave today. I hope you've had a wonderful Jaden show. I can't wait to see you again next Sunday with another special, incredible featured artist. I'm going to leave you with Be As One. Take care. Stay beautiful. See you next week. Bye-bye.